So I'm here with Angela, and we're talking about families, differences in family culture and I'm sorry. And we both have experience with the West. Actually, we're both Westerners, and we also have worked and lived in Thailand. Have you noticed a difference in the flow of money, which I think is quite interesting? So in a lot of Asian cultures, especially Thailand, the flow of money goes from the children up.
Yes.
Whereas in the West, the flow of money goes from
Parents
the
down.
parents down, or the older the family member down.
Yes.
It's a completely different flow, which is quite interesting when you think about it.
Isn't it? Because, a lot of the people that are working in Bangkok and some of the tourist places in Thailand, they send money home. They don't earn money for their own keep and their own life. They actually send money home to the villages to pay for their children, to pay for their mothers. And I think it affects the way that people respect people within the family. There's huge respect for older people in Thailand that I didn't notice in the West. And I think maybe it may be something to do with the fact that they are still giving to their parents.
Yeah, that's so true. I think also the fact that the family is almost like a bank.
Yes.
And they have a pool of wealth that they use together as a unit, which I think is just a great concept.
Yeah.
Although when I say this, I don't kick money up to my mother. But I'm always thinking, I wish my family did this. Our family in the West, we should adopt this practice. Everybody gives 10% to the pool, to the family pool.
Yes.
But I don't know if it would ever work.
I don't know if it will work. No.
So, so you have kids.
Yes.
How would you feel if suddenly your children started giving you 10% of everything they
Great.
make?
Wouldn't that be wonderful? But it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's just not in our society.
Yeah, but you wouldn't spend it though, right? Like the whole idea is like they just give it to you would be the guardian, you would be the safekeeper of the money.
Yeah, I'd probably have the money and then put the money away for them.
Right.
Because I think that the pressures in the West are different as well. It's very hard now for people to become house owners. So for my kids, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get on the property ladder. So if they gave me any money, I would give it back to them as a deposit.
Yeah, although there is one other thing that goes the other way, which is in Japan, I hope I say this right, I think it's called a toshidama. Basically, it's you get money from your relatives. If you're a child or a kid, you get money from your relatives on January 1st. They give you an envelope, and sometimes kids might get $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on New Year's, depending on how wealthy your family is. And I think there's Chinese New Year. Maybe they do something similar. The kids get money. I'm not sure. So there is the other flow where families do give kids money, I think. And also, I remember years ago, when I first came to Thailand, I was talking with a guy, and I said, yeah, one thing that's shocking about kids in Thailand is nobody works. They don't have part-time jobs. Not that many have part-time jobs, although it's changed. I said, in America, you work, and it's a good thing. Like, you build values. And he said, yeah, in Thailand, they can't do that because if a child works, especially for a middle-class family, it's an embarrassment to the family. Like the father can't provide for his children. His children have to work when they should be studying. So it's really interesting, the different dynamics in money across cultures. So I'm here with Angela, and she is a writer and a traveler, a teacher, a businesswoman, and you're also a mother.
Yes. I have twins.
You have twins. That's amazing. Wow. And so you also are now what's called an empty nester. Can you explain what that means?
It's the feeling that you get when you realize that you've worked hard with your kids all those years and now they're ready to leave. And because they're twins, the nest is going to be emptied completely at once.
Yeah.
And I would be in the house by myself. I did think, though, that my son would have stayed home forever. So I would never have got to a position of having an empty nest. And my daughter, she left a little bit earlier. But it was just the thought of, you're in a house that your family's grown up in. What do you do now? Do you take in lodgers? Do you rent the house out? And that's when I made my decision to travel. And it was a gap that I spotted because my kids were 18 at the time. It was likely that my daughter would have grandchildren at some point, or I would have grandchildren, she'd have children, and then it would not be possible to come away again. So I saw the gap. I rented the house out, and my son, who was the last to leave the house, he said, "Mum, are you renting my room as well?" I said, "Well, of course I'm renting your room. You know, you don't get a house with a teenager resident in it." And he was absolutely flummoxed, but he found somewhere to live. He's working. She's found somewhere to live. She's working. And I think that one of the things you can give your kids actually is independence. I think it's the biggest thing that you can give them.
Yeah, and back in the day, it used to be that you would get kicked out of the nest. That was another phrase, You'd say like, okay, when you're 18, your parents would, give you that push like a mother bird, go fly, go do your thing. And I think it's still a good thing, actually.
I think it's a very good thing. Yeah.
That you go out, I was not really kicked out, but I did leave right away, and it was a good experience.
It was the best experience. That those years when you've got freedom, you've got your friends, you're growing up, you're learning about the world, you should be out there by yourself.
Now, you've done something against the grain. You went and traveled by yourself, and your gap year. Now, in Asia, where we are, this isn't really an empty nester culture. Like, I don't know if especially Thailand, they don't really push kids out of the house. People stay and live a little bit more. Have you noticed a difference in like kind of the family dynamics now that you're in Bangkok?
I think in Bangkok and Thailand, and certainly the other Southeast Asian countries I've travelled, I've been amazed at how families operate and live together. I think I'm very saddened by my own circumstances in the UK, and lots of people in the UK where families are divided and they don't live together and they don't support each other. When I was living in Isan, it was very obvious that families, because there's no social services, people have to work or they've got no money. So the parents would have to go to Bangkok or Phuket or one of the tourist areas, and the children would be left with the grandparents in the village. So it was obvious that there were lots of children who were growing up with grandparents, aunties. But I looked at this and thought, well, these kids are living in a village where it's safe, they're happy, they grow up as a gang, and they're loved.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's interesting you mentioned that. One of the saddest things I ever saw unexpectedly was when I was in the Philippines. I was flying out. I was in the Philippines, had a great time. And when I was going at the airport, they had this long line. And I didn't know what was going on. It was all these children and their mothers. I mean, we're talking dozens. And it seemed strange. And then it hit me, because the Philippines have so many people that work overseas. These were all mothers that were saying goodbye to their children.
Yes.
Because they had to go work overseas. And it's like, I even get choked up now, like thinking about it. It was just really powerful that like the people that had that situation, that those mothers, they don't want to leave their kid. Yeah, that's got to be really hard. But they have to. They have to go to wherever they're going to go in the world. Yeah, that was something. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, and I find families over here are just so willing to share. They share their food. They share their beds. They share their houses. Yeah. In a way that is just so different.
Yeah.
To what I've experienced in the UK.
That is true. That is true.
Todd, are you good at saving money?
No, I'm terrible. I waste money. I waste so much money.
How?
Well, I don't buy things on sale. I don't use coupons. I buy anything I see. So when I shop, I don't look at prices. I just see the food or the thing and I get it and I buy it and I pay for it, and then it's sometimes very expensive. So I just waste money. I don't budget. I need to budget my money, but I don't budget my money. What about you? Are you good at saving money?
I don't think I'm too bad at saving money. I look at prices a lot. I also buy a lot of things on sale, so I'm able to save some money.
So you look for discounts?
Yes, I do.
Do you use coupons or special offers?
No, I don't. But if I see some, I will use them.
So, do you waste money on anything? Like maybe eating out, buying clothes, renting movies?
I waste money on buying clothes.
Oh, okay.
But I save a little bit because I buy them on sale.
Do you buy things online?
No, I don't. I usually go into the stores to shop.
I'm I'm good with clothes too. So I don't spend much money on clothes. I only shop maybe once a year, or I only shop if I need something, like it's really cold and I need a jacket.
I see.
And I'm really bad, so I often only wear clothes people give to me. So,
That's good.
yeah, so I get shirts or ties for Christmas gifts or a birthday gift, and I do that. My mom often asks, every year, my mom asks, "What do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday?" And I'll say, underwear and socks, or socks and t shirts. And so she buys them for me, and then I don't have to buy them.
Wow. Sounds like you're an easy person to give a present to.
Yes, for clothes. Yes, for clothes. But I waste money on computers and electronics, and those things are expensive. So I buy a new computer every year. I have 4 computers now in my
Wow.
house. I have 5 mobile phones.
Wow.
I have an iPad. I have lots of electronic equipment. So I spend so much money on those things.
I waste money on traveling.
Ah, yeah.
Every year I take about 1 or 2 trips to different countries. So that's where a lot of my money go.
Yeah, traveling is expensive.
Yes. It
But
is.
when you travel, do you save money? Do you stay at cheap hotels, or do you buy cheap plane tickets?
I try to. I try to all the time. But usually the plane ticket is so expensive that a lot of my savings is already gone.
Yeah, I know. I buy my tickets online, usually with Expedia,
Okay.
and it's cheap. It's pretty cheap. I waste money on food. I eat out almost every day, or I
Wow.
buy my dinner at the supermarket almost every day. Do you waste money on food?
No, I don't. I usually get bored if I eat out too much because even though I am not a very good cook, there are some things that I cook that I like to eat. So I would miss those things. So no, I don't waste money on eating out.
Ah, that's interesting. So you save money, I waste money. You have to teach me your tricks. You have to teach me your tips on saving money.
Please teach me how to get cheap travel tickets.
It's a deal.
Thanks.